Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Roll 'em If You Got 'em. Carl, as always, I'm joined with Dakota.
Hello, everybody.
This video here, we're going to take a look at this fast and simple way to paint Hive Fleet Leviathan for Tyranids. So I have a couple of 3D printed barbgaunts that I'm going to do. Here are a couple of the test models that I did. I'm going after the whiter kind of skin tone on the left, but I like the carapace and such here on the right a little better. Similar to that Kraken Hive Fleet Kraken video I did, I'm using two models here, and I'm going with two different approaches to the models while still making them look almost the same, I guess you could say. So these ones here, they're primed in Brain Matter Beige by Army Painter. This first model is getting the white Army Painter speed paint just all over the skin tones. This is going to be, oh no, this is the white.
Mm-hmm.
This is the white, yeah. This is going to be our lighter model. Everything I'm going to do on this guy's a little lighter. And then the other guy, everything I do on him is going to be a little darker. And then once we get to the end, we'll see if like, oh, I like this on this one, I like that on that one, kind of thing. Because I know like with the Hive Fleet Leviathan, like I kind of got lost about halfway through. I'm like, I don't know which model's which because I wasn't taking a drastic enough approach to the beginning to like keep them separate throughout. And we'll drop a link up here to that Hive Fleet Leviathan video if you would like to check that out. We would greatly appreciate it. So, second one here, we're just going to hit him with dark tone over the Brain Matter Beige primer here.
Yeah, this is just an interesting approach. I mean, it's a very quick, like you're not necessarily speed paint because you're using a wash, but yeah, you're just going right in with like this is the tone I want with the Brain Matter Beige, and then just doing this right on top of it and having it, pool in those recesses and essentially pick out all those details, wash wise.
Mm-hmm. As I was working on the model, I was pretty much digging on the white speed painted one the whole time. But once we start getting towards the end, I think I do like this dark tone over the Brain Matter Beige a little more than the white, but for almost the rest of the model, I think almost everything I kind of prefer the thin down speed paints for these guys, but we'll see as we get there. Because right here it's looking real like a black wash, like a thicker, kind of more aggressive black wash. And I'm like, this might be a little much.
Yeah, I would even say too. At this point, it doesn't. I'm not gonna say it doesn't read as white, but it definitely seems more like a faded, washed out black type of color. All right, and this is it. This is that one you're just working on, correct?
Yes. So this is the dark tone here, and then we go back and we hit it all with a little white dry brush in our slap chop palette here.
Yeah.
Which this slap chop palette is, you don't have a great look at it here, but it is a free download over on Thingiverse. I spelled palette incorrectly, but we'll put a tag in here for the slap chop palette video, which has a link to the Thingiverse also, if anybody wants to go check that out.
Yeah. Even through, would you say you're dry brushing this is just pure white?
Yeah, this is just the Apple Barrel Snow White.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think really too, looking at them, I'm kind of digging the one that's the dark tone already. Just looking at it, the other one, I always feel like when I use those white speed paints or contrast, it just seems too not shaded almost.
It's like
And
a
then
thin gray.
yeah. And like I've had good results with them, but other times I'm like, that's not what I was going for necessarily. So.
Right. No, I agree. I've used it on like a lab jacket for a Marvel Crisis Protocol mini before, and it
Mhm.
looked great there. But you're like, that's white cloth. It's supposed to
Yeah.
read a little different than this white skin tone, sorta.
Yeah.
Here we have off camera painting of Hive Dweller purple, Army Painter speed paint. It is this is the straight out of the bottle Hive Dweller purple here. It is very thick. This is as far as like the feeling of applying these speed paint colors, Hive Dweller purple might be almost the thickest of them all.
Mhm.
And then this here we would have Hive Dweller with 50% 50% speed paint medium. So
Mhm.
a 1-to-1 ratio here, and this just feels much smoother. And between the two models at the end, like I think this is probably the second biggest difference from model to model on the. I mean, what do we got here? We got four-ish colors.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this is just it's so
Even
fast.
even looking at this guy, you can already kind of see it. I feel like you see a little bit more of the detail, and it's kind of pooling that purple better almost,
Mhm.
because you thinned it out a little bit. Um, there's not huge color difference. It almost just seems like it's acting a little bit better of how it needs to,
Right.
being thinned down.
It's has a much better flow to it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I
it
have
should.
I haven't used the uh the mediums very much at all since I've had the
Mhm,
speed paints, and I've had the speed paints for man, are we going on 2 years now since the speed paints came out? Year and a half maybe.
mhm. Yeah, it's been a
Since
while.
1.0 came out. So I remember they were just previewing them when we were in Vegas at
Mhm,
LVO. So they weren't quite
yeah,
out yet.
mhm, yeah,
So yeah, March, April, probably somewhere. So here is obviously it's still kind of wet, but you can see just how much whiter the thin down one is. It's
yeah. It's looking a lot better. I mean, you can see the details more. You don't have to go back through and do much more over the top of like a highlighting if you didn't want to.
sure,
I feel like the
sure.
darker one, you're definitely gonna want to go back and like
Yeah,
highlight it up a
which
bit. You
if you're
know.
someone who likes to go back and do highlights and stuff, maybe not thinning it down is the right play. But me, I'm looking for the quickest, simplest, most efficient kind of method here in four colors and I'm done sort of thing. So I'm looking for what's going to be finished in one pass versus
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
uh,
I'm one that I like to go back and highlight stuff up, but even too from a highlighting perspective, the light one, like, you can see a little bit more, so you're like, "Okay, I wanna highlight it with this a little bit and do
sure.
that." So, there's
Hooves and oh, good.
no, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, hooves and horns. We got Gravelord Gray here, just picking out spikes and hooves and little pointy bits.
Mhm,
And then for the other one, once again, we hit it with the medium. Um, this one in the end, I think not the thin down
not
one.
mhm,
I think it goes on a little better. It kind of gets point across. These are supposed to be, dark black
yeah.
sort of
Yeah, I always
stuff.
struggle with the gray contrast. Any of these darker contrasts, I struggle with because you're like, I want it to read as this color, and then you put it on, and you're like, didn't really do what I wanted it to do or thought it would. And then
True.
even the, I
Oh,
think when
and
you,
when it's wet, and you're like, oh, it didn't really read how I wanted it to, and then you don't. I don't know about you, but I'm basically like, if it doesn't look right away, I'm doing things to it. I'm not gonna be like, well, let's wait and see how
yeah,
it dries. And I,
yeah,
I'm impatient. It's like, no, no,
uh-huh,
no. I
yeah,
wanted you to look right the first time.
yep,
I
yeah,
think I'm just kind of going back here and touching some spots that I may have missed on the other model. Apparently, we missed some purple also, or I think I was holding the model by like these parts, messing with the gray and basically banging these guys out in one sitting, not giving things time to dry. Whereas if you
Mhm.
were batch painting, a whole unit of these guys or whatever, not an issue. So here we got the light ones on the right, obviously. Um, the hooves with the gray speed paint are almost as dark with the cut one, the medium. They're
Mhm.
almost as dark as the skin tone on the other on
Yeah.
the dark air quotes here, the dark model.
Yeah, I wonder too, you pointed that out, I was just thinking, I wonder too what it would it look like if you did, like, a cut in with the gray as your skin tone and then just you know, went over that,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Just to have a little bit if you're somebody that's like, "Oh, what finish does this wash have compared to these, um, speed paints?" If you're like me, I don't really seal models, and I should, but,
I don't either.
if some people, some people, they'll seal them and put the same finish, and then it all looks the same, but if you don't like us, you're like, "Oh, that finish is different than the speed paint finish," and then you're trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Uncut magic blue here. And by cut, if anyone's listening, I mean I don't know, maybe that's exclusive American term. Cut means watered down or you add the medium or I mean really it's a cocaine term. I'm pretty sure is where it's come from. If you have cut cocaine, it means they added baking soda and I don't know a lot about cocaine. Anyways, here we have the magic blue medium mix cut whatever. When I said purple was the second biggest difference, this is the biggest difference between the two. This magic blue, I think because it's lighter, it kind of needed it. It this is the number one thing that looks better thin down versus straight out of the bottle on this model at least for the color I wanted because I wanted that almost glowing sort of bioluminescent.
Like electric blue almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's electric. Okay, we don't want to get copyrighted. Um, so yeah, just hit the whatever the little tendrils kind of section, and then he's got that little brain. If you do go back and watch the Kraken video after you watch this one, of course, you'll see where on those models I just blew right past them with color and was like, "Oh, this was incorrect." Um, I wanted the fleshy orange for this part, so I mixed flesh and orange. Yeah, scientific over here. Um, I just wanted the color that would contrast the blue and the purple well. And I was like, well, orange would. And I was like, but I don't want to do orange. I want it to be because this is a biomass kind of part here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, throwing like a pure orange on there, it'd probably be a little bit too, I don't know,
orange.
like, yeah, I mean, too orange,
It,
but,
it
a
would
little
it
bit.
wouldn't read as like the bioweapon sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
they grow their weapons. I wanted it to have kind of a fleshy sort of look.
I think that's a great standout too. I think sometimes they do a lot of like pink, maybe like some pinker
Okay.
colors, but like I think it's a good contrast
Hmm.
if you get what I'm saying.
Um. Yes. Yeah. I'm happy with how it came out. I would like to play with the flesh tone aspect of it a little more.
Mhm,
Maybe even dry brush a traditional paint, but like a skin tone
mhm, yeah,
over this area. I think the thin down one definitely reads closer to
what you're going for.
what I was going for versus the other one. I do like the purple and orange together with that little bit of blue splashed in. There was a part of me that thought about hitting like the joints between, like the lower and upper arm and stuff with almost like a pink, but I wanted this to be more of a speed painty kind of
Mhm.
video here.
Yeah, and even too, when
And
you
a
pick out
little purple alchemy for the tongue
yeah,
on the
even
dark
too
model.
there's so many little details in a lot of models, printed, not printed, whatever they are, and you're like, "Oh, I need to get this spot," and then when you're playing, you're like, I don't see the thing I spent an hour trying to paint on every one of these
Mm,
things, like, when I pick you pick out every, like, you know, joint. you pick out all
You're
those
not
joints.
kidding.
And like, yeah. So
So darker model on the left, lighter cut model on the right. One of the first things you'll notice are these colored blobs on their bases. This is a separate video. I got some of the water effect stuff and just started mixing it with speed paints, and I threw some earth texture basing down. We decided it was to be a separate video because it is such a different topic. So ignore those for now. We'll I'll that video will be out real soon, so I'll tag it up here as soon as it is ready, probably next week if you're watching this right when it comes out.
yeah, I think
So yeah, what are your thoughts, Dakota?
yeah, I mean, I love the model on the right. I love the purple on it. I think it's what do you want it to be. You don't have any like. I think the contrast helps it not have any of those like weird pooling areas where you like stop your brush at the wrong spot. I think it looks pretty, damn near perfect, and it's a bright tone, no highlights needed. But then yeah, the guy on the left, definitely his body portion, like the
The
white
skin
area,
tone.
the skin tone, it,
Yeah.
it just it pops a little bit more. I mean, you can see here on the head, there's like little dimples on the one on the right. You can't see them on the one on the left. You can see
hmm
them a little bit better. And that's just
Um,
a little bit different.
joints kind of in like the legs.
Yeah.
I felt that it read so much better. Or once again, there's little dots there on the legs, on the backside of the legs. On the right model, you don't even see them,
Hmm.
or they're very difficult to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
then yeah, the one on the right does get a little bit more electric bluey going on, and the compared to the one on the left, it really just kind of stands out a little bit more.
yep. Once the orange was dry, not a huge difference, I guess. The orange uh Crusader skin combo,
Yeah,
but from there, from the inside of the model, I guess it does maybe look like more difference, but
yeah.
I'm not unhappy with either one. I guess what I'm trying to say.
There's not too much difference between the two. I mean, you can get a little bit lighter on the one on the right compared to the left, which makes sense. Uh, and even too, like in that situation, you're kind of mixing two colors and a shade, so your mix could have been a little bit. I mean, I know you're dropping them in, so you're probably counting a little bit better. But it just maybe that drop was a little bit bigger than the other
Sure,
drops.
in the skin tone already being lighter.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Okay, well, if you guys made it to this point in the video, huge thanks. Likes go a long way. Share the video with friends. Really help boost the channel and help get the sub count up. And till next time, we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.